If you spend any time playing Morrowind, you'll learn that the game can be anything but balanced. Sure, it can be a bit brutal at the beginning when you're fresh off the boat and can't hit anything with an iron dagger. I mean, you spec'd in a longblade after all. But before you know it, you'll be slaying ancient evils and oddly well-spoken pseudo-deities in no time. However, of all the broken or overpowered things in this game, there are two that definitely stand above the rest: Alchemy and Enchanting. If you've played Skyrim, you're probably familiar with both of these skills. In fact, they can be quite broken in that game as well. But Morrowind definitely takes it to the extreme. While these skills are indeed powerful, they're probably the most complicated to understand, making them just a bit difficult to implement. So today, let's walk through how Alchemy and Enchanting work, how to effectively use them, and how to break them. I mean, come on, we're already here, might as well have some fun with it. Let's quickly discuss these skills just a bit, starting with Alchemy. In Morrowind, the Alchemy skill allows the player to identify what properties various ingredients have, and allows them to then create potions that amplify these effects in a one-time use item. These effects can range from healing, skill amplification, attribute restoration, water walking, levitation, all manner of things, really. One crucial thing to note about these effects is that you can stack effects if they come from different items. So drinking multiple potions of Fortify strength will create an additive effect, where your strength skill will increase by the amount granted by each potion. I wonder if that'll come in handy at all. Moving on, let's talk about the Enchanting skill, which allows a player to permanently apply a magical effect or a spell to an item, using the power of a creature's soul that's contained within a soul gem. Basically, any known spell can be imbued into an item using a soul gem as a power source. The larger the soul, the more uses you'll get out of the item before it runs out of charge. But not to worry, enchanted items slowly recharge on their own in Morrowind, and you can also use soul gems to recharge them faster. One great thing about using enchanted items for spellcasting is that there is no animation associated with it, allowing you to cast spells more quickly than you would if you traditionally cast them with your own magicka and skills. You're also not limited to just casting spells from enchanted items. Constant effect items are enchanted items that, when worn, always imbue their effect on the wielder. The player can create these constant effect items as well, customizing what effects are best suited for them and their playstyle. Alright, now that we know a bit more about these skills, let's get into how to use them effectively and make some very, very powerful potions and enchantments. The best way to learn is by doing, so let's start at the beginning. As always, we'll need a suitable name for exploiting the game. This one seems very appropriate. For race, I'm going to go with Breton, just because they have high magic-focused skills. We'll need to get at least to the rank of Conjurer in the Mage's Guild to get access to a certain item that will really get enchanting going, and this is going to help us bypass training any of those skills. Look at that face. He looks like he's absolutely up to no good for sure. We'll do custom class with magic as our focus to increase our magic-based skills. Do strength and endurance for our favorite attributes to give us just a bit more survivability before we really get things going. Our major skills will be Alchemy, Alteration, Longblade, Mysticism, and Restoration. Our minor skills will be Enchant, Destruction, Light Armor, Athletics, and Illusion. Most of these are just for the Mage's Guild, but I'm going to use Longblade as my primary source of damage. Light Armor will help with survivability at the beginning, and Athletics because I just don't like to move slow. I'm also going to go with the Steed Birth Sign to increase my movement speed just a bit more. I'm on a mission, and I don't want to be stopped by being out of shape. Going through Satanin is pretty standard. Grab the limewire platter, clear out the adjoining room, get Fargoth's ring, give it back his ring, and make a tiny profit over at Aurel's. We'll also need to pick up the 4 kinds of fungus that Azura needs. She's the main quest giver for starter mages guild quests in Balmora, and this will help us from backtracking it all. Oh, let's get our fit together. Always good to dress for the job you want, and today I'm dressing as an absolute legend. Now, over to Balmora. The first thing we're going to do, actually, is run over to Nalkaria's alchemy shop and grab her Grandmaster Mortar and Pestle, which we're going to need later on for our alchemy. There's a guard right by it, but if we block his line of sight with a wooden post, we can nab the Mortar and Pestle without any issue. Now go right next door to Millie Hastian's fine clothing shop. We're actually here for the flowers she keeps nearby: Golden Canet, Stoneflower Petals, and Willow Anther. Azura will ask for these flowers as well, so this will save us a trip hunting them down. On to the Mage's Guild. Join up and grab the potions and scrolls in the guild chest, then head downstairs and talk to everyone's favorite little kitty cat. Go ahead and buy the heather flower that Azura sells as well, then ask about duties. Give her the mushrooms we've collected, then ask about duties again to learn about a bet she has with Galbadir, asking you to replace a soul gem in her desk with a fake. This will cause Galbadir to leave her normal area, which also leaves her collection of very expensive soul gems unguarded. Grab all of her soul gems as well as the limewire platter before swapping the soul gem in the desk for the fake. Head back to Azura and give her the flowers that we've already picked up. Then, she tells you to grab a ceramic bowl. Luckily, there's one at the front of the guild hall that we can take. We can also ask Randus Athras for advancement. We can't get to Conjurer just yet, so let's keep taking on some duties. Azura will say that her reports have been stolen. Well, maybe you shouldn't have messed with Galbadir's soul gems. I bet you took them all too. Her stolen reports are under the dresser right by Azura's workstation, and under the barrels at the front of the guild hall. Giving these reports back will be the end of Azura's duties for us. but we can already reach the rank of Evoker, just one away from Conjurer. We'll need to find a new quest giver though, preferably one that just has some random tasks of very little consequence that we can take care of. Taking a quick break from the Mages Guild, let's go get a very powerful sword that will be our primary damage dealer for this run. In the Eastern Guard Tower, on top of a cabinet, is the Blade of White Woe, an enchanted ebony longsword that is quite powerful, especially for low-level characters and really even mid-level characters. Getting it without incurring a bounty takes a little bit of doing. We'll need to block the guard with a nearby wooden post, then get just close enough so that when we jump into the air, we can pause our menu and select the sword. With the guard's vision blocked, we can just place it into our inventory directly and be on our way. After grabbing the sword, stop by the local Temple of the Tribunal. In the basement are 2 vendors that sell the Mark and Recall spells. Grab both of these because we're definitely going to need them later on. Heading back into the Mages Guild, take the guild guide over to Caldera. Downstairs, there's a door that leads to another set of stairs. On top of these stairs is a master set of alchemy supplies that we're going to need to grab. We've already got our Grandmaster Mortar and Pestle, so don't worry about grabbing that. Head across the street into Gorak Manor, a house filled with orcs and a curiously small demon. This is Creeper, and he do be creepin'. He's actually Barbas, the other half of the Daedric Prince Klavka's file, but he swapped out his typical dog form for something more akin to a chihuahua. Cast Mark to set a teleportation anchor here for now. Then head upstairs and grab the set of orcish armor from one of the crates. Okay, let's make some money. Creeper is one of the largest gold supplies of any vendor, and buys basically everything for full price. Doing what I like to call the Creeper Shuffle, we can sell off items of lesser value, wait 24 hours for his gold to restock, then sell items of greater value by buying back our old items. Doing this a few times will net us about 18,000 gold. With our newfound wealth, let's head back over to the Mages Guild and teleport over to Aldrune and talk to Edwina Elbert, who will have a few more duties for us that can be completed very quickly. The first is to grab the Chronicles of Nuchaleft, which the bookshop in Balmora just so happens to sell. I should have picked this up earlier, but I forgot about it, which may become a running theme in this video. Drop off the book with Edwina, then go grab a potion of Detect Creatures from Skink in Tree's Shade in Sadrith Mora's Mages Guild. Since we're already in Sadrith Mora, let's get our alchemy going. Head downstairs and into the Imperial Shrine. In the back corner is a vendor named Onius Autrus, who will become our best friend very shortly. You see, Onius is a restocking merchant, meaning that after we close the barter dialogue, all the items that we just purchased will be restocked to the same number as before. He also just so happens to sell the ingredients Ashiams and Bloat, both having the Fortify Intelligence effect. We'll need a lot of these ingredients, so we'll buy his stock, then sell it back to him. So, when he then restocks, it'll be to his original amount of ingredients, plus the batch we just sold him. We can keep doing this, creating exponential growth to his alchemy supplies, allowing us to purchase hundreds of Ashiams and Bloat for our potion making. We'll need to talk a bit more about the nitty-gritty of alchemy for this all to make sense. You see, to make very powerful potions, we'll need to boost our intelligence. By a lot. This is twofold. Our alchemy success chance is dependent on our alchemy skill, and our luck, and our intelligence. However, if we drastically increase our intelligence, the other two factors won't really matter, allowing us to always successfully create potions. The same is true for potion strength. By drastically increasing our intelligence, the base potion strength will also increase. Grab one of your alchemy tools and equip it, bringing up the potion crafting menu. Having all 4 alchemy tools will further improve our potions as well. Now let's get to brewing. After making a few Fortify Intelligence potions, drink them all, stacking the buff, and craft even more. This will further improve our potions. Keep doing this until you have 10 to 15 potions that will fortify your intelligence by over 100 each. We now have the capacity to create some truly powerful potions, but we still need to gather up some materials first. Let me walk you through how to make these very powerful Restore Health, Magicka, and Fatigue potions, as well as Fortify Strength. Starting in Vivec, there's an alchemist in the Upper Wasteworks named Arain Furness, who is a restocking merchant for corpus weepings and resin, which both provide the Restore Health effect. Doing our merchant shuffle, we'll grab about 18 of each ingredient and be on our way. If a guard stops us for having so many shaved pieces of divinely diseased creatures, just run. You're not going to explain your way out of that. Let's then head over to Azura, who just so happens to be a restocking merchant for crab meat and hound meat, ingredients we'll need for Restore Fatigue potions. Luckily, her disposition should be quite high after helping her so much, making these purchases very affordable. Let's grab a good chunk of these as well. Forgetting that there was another merchant in Vivec we needed to visit, let's now talk to Kreisha Julalian at the Vivec Mages Guild. She is a restocking merchant for Daedra Hearts and Frost Salts, ingredients we'll need to craft Restore Magicka potions. Like before, let's do the Cupid Shuffle and grab a ton of what we need. Our final merchant is in Sadrith Mora proper. Anis Seloth runs an alchemy shop on the western side of town and is a restocking merchant for Daedra Skin and Vampire Dusts, ingredients that we'll need to create Fortify Strength potions. Once we craft these potions, we'll be able to stack on the Fortify Strength buff, greatly increasing our damage output. Basically, nothing in the game will be able to stand up to us for very long. Once we start buying up ingredients, after bribing her into even speaking to us, House Telvanni never change, our funds start to run a bit dry. You see, I forgot how expensive vampire dust was. Not to worry though, we can get some more money in no time. Let's drop a mark by Annis and travel back to our best friend Creeper. We may have sold most of our valuable loot, but we've kept one item in reserve, the Grand Soul Gem we stole from Galbadir. It's worth 60,000 gold, and we can't quite sell it for that much since Creeper's inventory isn't super valuable at the moment. But after a bit of shuffling, we can net about 30,000 gold, which is going to be plenty for our purposes. Recall back to Annis, and now we can buy up a bunch of the ingredients we need from her. Okay, now we can get to brewing some particularly potent potions. Bippity-boppity-boo and all that. Let's start by cranking up our intelligence, then making even more fortify intelligence potions. Repeating that process until the number looks sufficiently big for our intelligence attribute. Now let's make our other potions. With this spice cabinet of magical potential, we're practically unkillable, unless we're one-shot just outright. And for about 4 full minutes, our magicka and fatigue will regenerate so fast that it'll be like we have an infinite amount. Not to mention that we can stack on fortify strength buffs, amplifying our damage so that we can practically one-shot every enemy in the game in one hit. And with that, you have the basics of alchemy down and the knowledge of the dark arts of alchemy exploitation. Feared in every Elder Scrolls game and waking Todd Howard up with cold sweats every night. But we still need to figure out enchanting, so let's pivot back to that part of the video. Teleport back to Aldrune and give the Detect Creatures potions back to Edwina. With this duty complete, she will promote us to Conjurer, after paying 200 gold because you can't escape stupid fees even in a fantasy game. This will give us access to the Mage's Guild vendor, Films Morel, who sells restocking Summon Golden Saint scrolls. The Golden Saint, a Daedra from the Shivering Isles, is very powerful, and upon being soul trapped and defeated, will fill a Grand Soul Gem, which are required for making constant effect items. However, we don't have any Grand Soul Gems. That's okay, we don't really need them. You know what, I don't even want them. Not a single one. We're gonna go get the best soul gem in the game, Azura's Star, an artifact of the aforementioned Daedric Prince, and a reusable soul gem that can store any soul in the game. We'll need to visit Azura's shrine to start the quest, which is located in the southeastern corner of the island. There's no great way of getting there, but the most direct and probably the safest route is by air. Let's quickly grab a potion of Rising Force from Azura and the Almsavi intervention spell from the Balmora Temple. I definitely should have grabbed this one earlier as well. Then teleport over to the Mage's Guild in Vivec, cast Almsavi intervention, and you'll find yourself at the entrance to the city's Tribunal Temple, where there is a shrine surrounded by flowers. If you activate that shrine and donate your potion of Rising Force, you'll be granted with 100 points of levitation for about 24 real-world minutes. Angle yourself towards the southeastern shore and get ready for liftoff. It really is unfortunate that levitation magic isn't present in Oblivion or Skyrim. Like, I get it would be difficult to balance for, but being able to soar above the map offers just like a really cool perspective. I especially wish we would have gotten this in Skyrim, specifically because of how gorgeous the mountains are in that game. Or at least had dragon riding be more fleshed out, right? Honestly, dragon riding is pretty unfun if you think about it. You can't control the dragon, and you better hope you're a spellcaster, otherwise you won't be able to contribute to combat in really any meaningful way. Completely wasted opportunity, if you ask me. Once we reach the shrine and the calm but stern face of our goddess, head on inside and activate the statue. You'll receive a dialogue about a wager between Azura and Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness, about whether or not solitude causes madness. Sheogorath contends that it does, while Azura believes that it allows for solace and meditation. To prove whose ideology is correct, Azura commanded one of her devotees to stay totally isolated in a hut for 100 years. A totally fair and cool thing to do to a person. With the deadline of the wager almost up, Uncle Shio has sent some of his personal baddies to give this priestess some company. Azura tasks us with defeating the Daedra to ensure the priestess is undisturbed, which would make her the victor of the bet. Be sure not to go into the hut yourself because that will actually fail the quest. Place a mark at Azura's shrine, then let's head out. The hut is located on an island just northwest of Dagon Fell. To get there, let's Almsavi intervention back to Molag Mar, then fly down to the boat docked near the north side of the city. Then we can hopscotch around the island until we reach Dagon Fell. From there, it's a short walk and a brief swim over to the island. Probably should have taken a second potion of Rising Force, but hindsight is 20/20, right? Once we reach the island, we can see the hut is under assault from quite a few Daedra. But not to worry, we have our super potions. My first thought was to take them all on. After all, none of them should be able to kill me. But I quickly realized that there were some things worse than death. You see, the Daedra on the island include hungers, which have a potent paralyze effect, which I can't resist, leading to this. Oh boy, I am at a pickle. But then I remembered you only have to kill the Golden Saint, Stadia, and take Sheogorath's signet ring to complete the quest. If we come in from the eastern side of the hut, we can draw aggro from just the Golden Saint and the Daedroth, but he's not really an issue. Once we defeat Stadia, loot the ring and the other valuables, we might need the gold later, then quickly cast Recall to get back to Azura's shrine. Activating the statue again will complete the quest, rewarding you with Azura's Star, the reusable soul gem capable of storing any size soul. Almsavie back over to Molag Mar, then take the Silt Strider over to Balmora. I elected to take a bit of a shortcut. Damn it. While we're in Balmora, let's stop by Millie Hastian's clothing shop where we initially stole her potted plants. What we need now are her clothing and jewelry items, specifically of exquisite value. You see, in Morrowind, items have a certain enchanting capacity. Typically, the more valuable or rare an item is, the more enchant you can store within it. For example, a steel longblade can hold an on-cast fire damage enchantment, but it'll be much weaker compared to the enchantment that can be placed on a Daedric longsword. The same is true for clothing, and typically it's not too expensive. I'll also buy up her extravagant items. They're not quite as good, but we may need them later on to show off a few other enchantments. Now that we have access to unlimited Grand Soul Gems, a way to store them, and items to enchant, we need to improve our enchanting skill. There's a few ways to do this. Traditionally, leveling up enchanting is done by using enchanted items or recharging enchanted items, and it's very tedious and inefficient, and I don't like it. We can also pay trainers to level up our enchanting, but if we're going to pay someone a bunch of gold, why not just pay them to enchant the items themselves? What we need is a workaround, similar to our Fortify intelligence potions for alchemy. Therefore, we're going to use the Fortify Skill spell. This spell was a late addition to Morrowind, first appearing in the Tribunal DLC, so we'll need to head to Mournhold to procure it. To do this, we'll need to rest a few times. Oh, look, we leveled up, until a Dark Brotherhood assassin spawns and attacks us. After killing him and taking his armor, which isn't super useful considering the potions we made, but, it doesn't really hurt to have, we'll need to inform Apollos Matthias over in Ebonheart about the attack. He'll direct us to Asine Rain, who will then teleport us to the Royal Palace in Mournhold. After a bit of searching, where I got very, very lost, it is a fucking labyrinth in here, we can make our way to the Imperial Shrine in the palace, and talk to Lorena Maria, who happens to sell the spell Feet of Natorgo. Who is Natorgo, and why are their feet magical? A question for another day. But it does grant us the Fortify Speed spell. But that's not all. You see, any spell that fortifies a skill or attribute allows you to spell make or enchant any Fortify skill or attribute spell, regardless of the original spell effect. The other spells we'll need before we get to enchanting are Levitation, sold by Heem La in the Aldru Mages Guild, Undusi's Open Door from Orant Geotine, I'm not even going to try to fix that one, and Soul Trap, sold by Massalini Marian in the Balmora Mages Guild. We'll also need Fortify Health from Lethino Hlalu and Restore Fatigue from Telis Salvani, both located in the Balmora Temple. Good lord, this is the 4th time I've had to come back here. Okay, we've got the spells, the storage, the power, and our enchantable items. Time to cook. Heading back over to Caldera, we'll quickly sell off all the loot we got off Stadia for some extra gold. Then we'll head back over to the Mages Guild and start buying several copies of the Summon Golden Saint spell scroll. I'll put on Uncle Shia's ring for a bit of extra personality to lower the prices. Buy up quite a few scrolls. I picked up like 12. Use the scrolls to summon a Golden Saint, then cast Soul Trap on it. We'll then use a potion of Restore Health, Restore Fatigue, and Fortify Strength, allowing us to kill the Daedra while not dying ourselves, and trap its soul. Now, we'll be doing most of our own enchanting, but we'll need to purchase an enchanted item at least once. On our Exquisite Amulet, we'll put 2 instances of Fortify Enchant for 2 seconds. With 2 effect instances, our buff will stack, and we only need it for a few seconds because while in a menu, we're out of time and space. And magical effects last for as long as you have the menu pulled up. Damn, it's more expensive than I thought. Well, time to lose this ring. It's not really useful anyways. Run back over to Creeper and sell Sheogorath's signet ring for a good chunk of change, then head back over to finish our enchantments. I ended up making 2 items that fortify enchanting in 3 instances just to be safe, but I think you really only need 2. However, to effectively be an enchanter, pure enchant skill is not enough. We need to have high intelligence too. This is because the equation to successfully enchant an item, in OpenNW specifically, utilizes both the enchant skill and the intelligence attribute in a major way. Well, what do you know? We have a way of boosting our intelligence quite a bit. That's honestly why I think you need to do alchemy and enchanting kind of simultaneously. With our enchant and intelligence sufficiently high, about 300 for enchant and 900 for intelligence, just to be safe, we'll never fail to enchant an item. So, let's make a few. The first will be a constant effect levitation amulet. One key thing to know about constant effect items is that it is impossible to make constant effects that are super potent, like levitation for 100 points. But if you include a range of values, you can get away with higher constant effects. Every time you put on the enchanted item, it rolls a new value within its range. So you just need to take it off and on again until it hits its max value. With this amulet, we'll be able to get about 15 points of constant levitation at max. The next item we'll make is a ring that increases our speed, after we kill another Golden Saint, of course. This will actually be a cast when used item, because we want it to increase our speed by a lot, 80 points to be exact, making traveling through the air using our amulet much faster. Okay, back to our constant effects. Ignore the fact that I'm in Balmora. I forgot about these items and had to do them later. But hey, I figured out how to best kill a Golden Saint. Strafe, strafe, strafe. The first will be a set of pants that constantly restore 1 point of health per second, topping off your health at all times. We'll still use our potions, but this will allow you to not worry about little injuries. The second will be a set of boots that do the same thing with stamina, meaning you won't really have to worry about sprinting or jumping everywhere, since your stamina will constantly be regenerating. You can easily make constant effect items that grant things like constant water walking, water breathing, night eye, chameleon, really whatever you want. But I just wanted to show a few key items that you will absolutely have to have. We're also going to make 4 other items that grant Fortify health for 30 seconds on cast. Why, you ask? Well, we've got all these snazzy items and potions. Might as well use them on something. Let's go kill Dagoth Ur. To those unfamiliar with Morrowind, Dagoth Ur is the big bad of the base game, causing the divine disease of Corporus to run rampant throughout the land, and driving the mongrel dogs of the Empire from the land of the Dunmer, saying with the false tribunal and their pretender gods, "Praise the Sharmat!" I don't know where that came from. Anyways, we can actually bypass the entire main quest and defeat him directly thanks to our new toys. He's holed up in Red Mountain, inside the Ghost Fence, a giant barrier powered by the souls of the Dunmer dead and the Tribunal, meant to keep Dagoth Ur's forces trapped. It's not working great. To get there, teleport over to the Aldrum Mages Guild, then fly a bit southeast towards the bottom of the island's caldera. This is a great time to try out our levitation and speed enchantments. Once we reach the Ghost Fence, we'll want to wait a few days to allow our speed enchant to regenerate. Enchantment use is tied to our enchanting level, but since we can only boost ours for a few seconds at a time, we'll need to let it regenerate naturally. We could absolutely enchant items to constantly increase our enchant skill, but getting to what we need to kill Dagoth Ur won't really take long. Speaking of which, to kill Dagoth Ur, we'll need 2 items, Sunder and Keening, the mighty tools of Kagranak himself, used to tap into the heart of Lorkhan and granted the Tribunal their deific abilities. They're kept in 2 different dungeons and guarded by the Ash Vampires of House Dagoth. The first is in Odrisal, northeast of the Ghost Gate. Upon entering the dungeon, we can actually just turn right and use our open spell we picked up ages ago to unlock the door. With our intelligence potions, we should have plenty of magicka to get a successful cast. Head up the ladder right in front of you and grab Keening. Do not equip it. It'll probably kill you instantly. The next dungeon we'll need to go to is Viminal, which is a short flight northwest of Odrisal. In this dungeon, we'll need to actually fight the Ash Vampire, because the artifact Sunder is on his person. The other denizens of Viminal don't pose much of a threat once we've consumed our potions. And the same can be said for the Ash Vampire Dagoth Vemin. After a few hits from our blade, he drops like a sack of potatoes, and we can loot Sunder off his corpse. Neat! With that, let's fly over to the center of the volcano, which contains the Dwemer ruin of Dagoth Ur, which also contains, you guessed it, Dagoth Ur. He's down at the bottom of the dungeon, and we don't really need to deal with anyone else there, so it's a perfect time to use our speed ring. It doesn't help your sense of direction though, and I got lost a few times trying to find the basement in this place. Oh well, not like anything can really kill me in here. Once we reach the facility cavern, we'll be greeted by the Shakespearean cosmic horror that is Dagoth Ur. To test how effective our lessons in alchemy and enchanting have been, let's up the difficulty to max. Drink up a bunch of restore health and fatigue potions, and a few fortify strength potions. We'll also want to fortify our health with our 4 items we made, since he can actually one-shot us out of our base health. Not too hard of a fight, but it's not over just yet. While the heart of Lorkhan exists within the physical space of Nirn, so too does Dagoth Ur. Alright, let's destroy the heart. Be sure to wait for your Fortify Strength potion to wear off, though. There's a glitch that can soft lock you from destroying the heart if your strength is too high. Turns out the heart actually has a health bar, and you can flat out kill it before it goes through its scripted animation. Huh, never noticed that ring before. Fly down to the heart at the bottom of a Kulakan. Now here's the real reason why we needed our Fortify health enchantments. Equipping Sunder and Keening gives you the Mortal Wound debuff, which causes 50 to 125 points of damage per second, which we can't out-heal with just our potions. So if we fortify our health and use our health potions at the same time, we can stave off the damage long enough to get 1 hit in with Sunder and several more with Keening. It might take a few tries if you get really unlucky and the damage rolls at max. Also, you can lure Dagoth Ur into the lava to keep him from bothering you. Sorry kiddo, we're very busy and don't have time to play right now. In hindsight, I probably should have made a few more fortify health items just to speed this up a bit. I think the damage eats through the fortified health, but the enchantment is still active technically, meaning I can't recast the spell until the 30-second timer is up. It just makes things a bit more tedious, but I mean, this'll work just fine. After a few solid stabbings from Keening, the heart is no more, and the land is safe from the evil of Dagoth Ur. Flying out of the heart chamber, we're greeted by Azura herself, congratulating us on saving all of Morrowind. Now the Dunmer just need to deal with the downfall of their entire religious structure, as well as their living gods either going mad, dying, or leaving. Well, hopefully nothing else tragic will happen to them anytime soon. Thank you all very much for watching, and a huge thanks to all those who left very kind things in the comment section of my last video. It really did mean a lot to me, actually. I'm still very new at this, so if anyone has any tips on audio or video editing, let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you all again. And of course, wealth beyond measure, my fellow Outlanders.